The Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. With your hosts, Joe Bond.
You're awful.
And AJ Applegarth.
It's Sin Shu Chu. It's a mouthful.
All right. Welcome to the Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. Off the IR, ready to roll tonight. Got the back pillows. I'm good to go. AJ Applegarth, my co-host as usual, wearing the... I gotta admit, man, that's a much better hat than me. I went upstairs to go get this when I come downstairs, and I was like, dude, you gotta one-up me? Come on, bro.
Yeah, I gotta beat you in something.
Yeah.
Can't be championships. Can't even be fucking stupid goddamn toilet bowl. Try to give me an upper hand by benching Swift and then, or not benching, but switching.
Yeah, long story, but thank you for being the better man on that one, dude. That was the total botch job. I was like, what in the earth? Like, I passed out last week at like 3:30 or like 2:30 on the couch, woke up and was like, wait a minute, why do I have a second running back empty? Wait, Swift's supposed to be there. What the hell happened? And
yeah,
20 points later, I was losing. So
completely messing with you too, and I was just like, all right, let's have some fun with this one. Yeah, come on, man, what the hell? It's like, all right,
you
Scott,
win on that one. So of course, as you all listening, watching, whatever you're doing, you're realizing that this is on Saturday. If you saw me on Twitter on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, whatever it is that I tweeted it out, I threw up my back, and it was pretty bad. It still is bad, but I'm mobile now. I can at least sit in a damn chair. I can move. It was bad. So we are on Saturday night to get you ready for the Sunday showdown for Week 16 Championship Sunday. Before we get going, though, I want to remind everybody and ask you all to subscribe and follow to us. Leave your comments. Rate us on iTunes, YouTube, Periscope, wherever you listen and watch us, man. It is definitely appreciated, and we need those to get our followers up. We are watching the Miami Dolphins versus the Raiders right now. The Raiders are up 13 to, was it 7 or 6? I missed it, actually. Crap. Anyway, Raiders are winning at halftime here. We've had a lot of football today and yesterday. I didn't even realize – I was so out of it this week, man. I didn't even realize that there was a Friday game. I did not realize there was a Christmas Day game. All of a sudden, I woke up Thursday and was like, oh, I got to do my rankings. Looked up and was like, oh, there's no game today. Yeah, that's how much out of it I was. I couldn't move. I couldn't think. It was awful. But there's been a lot of football, so our advice for tomorrow is going to be a little different. And speaking of a lot of football, there was a lot of touchdowns yesterday, brother. Alvin Kamara, 6 touchdowns. All I know is there was a lot of cursing on Twitter, and there was a lot of cheering on Twitter at the same time. Did you happen to play against him, or did you have him anywhere? I know you have him in that one league, but you might have been out of it by this point.
I traded him last year to get Cook, then as like a rental. And then I lost to the guy that I traded with in the championship. He did not make the championship this year. He lost by like 2 points, if that. I think it was less than 2 points that he lost by to get in.
I've got a couple of those that I did that in.
But yeah, he dominated the season though. This guy, I mean, his team is just unstoppable for the most part. He had the most points scored, but I think he also had the most points against, and it was ridiculous. So he missed out on the championship, but he's got a pretty healthy lead in the in the third place game after yesterday.
Yeah, I would say so, man. It's pretty hard to lose when you get like 60 points from one player. So yeah, it was a hell of a performance by him, man. And I turned off the game. I was just kind of over it at that point. Not because I was playing against them or anything, but I was just kind of like, whatever, man. Like, who cares at this point, right? Sorry, I'm looking down because I'm trying to tweet out the show. I have to use my phone to do it when I'm running it myself because, unfortunately, Jeff, our producer, could not join us on a Saturday night. So, shout out to you, man. Hope you're doing well tonight. Yeah, but Kamara, dude, that was an amazing performance. It was just straight up crazy. I haven't seen anything like that in a long time. But let's get to it, man. Let's do our beer of the week.
Beer.
All right, man. I'll let you go first on this. On this.
All right.
On this day, and what you got?
Yum. I have the joy of drinking one of my individuals that I bought at our lovely localish, more to you than to me, beer store downtown Crown. Other half, triple space cut, double dry hopped Imperial IPA, 10%er. And yeah, I don't think I've had this one yet, so we'll see how it goes.
I'm actually not sure that downtown Crown, that's not closer to you than me.
No, I said it's closer to you.
Oh, sorry, I misheard you there.
Yeah,
it's way
that's
closer
good.
to me, and I'm actually drinking another one that I got from there. So, downtown Crown, we need some sponsorship. Yeah, whatever. I'm
Yes.
just kidding. You guys aren't listening to us. I'm drinking a Aslan Brewing Company. It's a Sensei. They got all the little karate symbols and stuff. Triple IPA. It's 11.1%. So I'm closing out the season hard because I need it with my back. I feel like so the muscle relaxers, I'm just going to drink some alcohol. It'll be good. But yeah, dude, I gave this a 4 3/4 on Untapped, dude. This was a phenomenal beer. It is super smooth. This is easily one of the best beers I've had. I almost gave it a 5, man. It's so good. It's just, man, I don't even know what hop. I didn't look it up. It's good, man. So I would definitely recommend this if you can find it. Cheers. Merry Christmas to you, man.
Merry Christmas. Cheers. Been a fun season.
Yep. All right, man. So no guests tonight because, I didn't even know if we were going to do a show, so we didn't plan for it. But we're going to have some fun. We're going to do our fantasy naughty and nice list, and we're going to start with our naughty list. So what this is we're mainly you're going to go through, and you're going to give some guys throughout the season who kind of weren't so good for people who, they were relying on them, and it just didn't really work out. So they're on people's naughties list, and I get it, man. I put people on my you-know-what list all the time. Starts with an S. I put people on that list all the time. So take the mic, man. Go ahead. Let's run through some quarterbacks on your naughty list.
I mean, I don't even know where to start with this. Wait, yeah, I do. My hometown team, Mr. Carson Wentz. All right. Yeah. I mean, he was a ADP 91, QB 12 coming into the season. So wasn't really looked at as a really high option. Probably more looked at as potential backup or a, guy for a 2-quarterback league. I feel like mostly because he did have a nice season last year, yet he had no weapons. And then this year, basically turned out to kind of be the same thing for the most part. I mean, we had some Travis Fulgham, crop up for a few weeks and had some nice games. But this is by far Wentz's worst season. He's got 15 interceptions, leads the league in the interception category. So he's got 1 for every 29 pass attempts in the games he's played, whereas his career is almost double that, 1 for every 50-ish pass attempts. He has a 57.4 completion percentage, also worst in the league, 36th to be exact. And it's also the worst of his career. His 16 passing touchdowns is the worst since his rookie year when he also had 16. But he does have 5 rushing touchdowns this year, so that kind of saved him. No, it didn't. It didn't at all. I don't think there was anything that would save him. And I mean, I've said it time and time again throughout the season on the show. He just does not have the accuracy. He does not have the confidence in his throws that he's had in the past. I don't know what it is, and it sucks because I like Wentz. I think he can be a solid quarterback, but he just doesn't have it anymore. And Ertz is older, and that connection just doesn't seem to be there anymore. Goddard's kind of even stepping in to outshine Ertz. So
yeah, dude, the floor fell off of Wentz. Like, I defended him. I mean, how many times early in the season? I defended him. I was like, look, the offensive line is dead. There's no receivers. There's no this.
That definitely.
I started watching him play more and more and more, and I was like, dude, the throws are awful. Like, he's got open guys, and he's missing them. Something's wrong. I don't know if he's trying too hard. I don't know what it is, but something is off. And I bought into him in a few leagues, and thankfully, in those leagues, I think in one I drafted Big Ben early on, as a backup, and so I was able to slide him in during his hot streak, and then promptly cut him pretty quickly after that. But I mean, so I went away from Wentz pretty quickly, but yeah, it was a bad season for Wentz. So yeah, definitely top of the list there for quarterbacks at the naughty list, man. Yeah. What else you got?
So naughty list for quarterbacks. I'm just throwing Drew Brees on here as more of an honorable mention. A lot of it's due to the injury, and that's not necessarily his fault, but also due to lack of arm strength. I mean, that was clearly obvious this year when he's played. Obviously, Kamara's been a monster, so he's relied on him a lot.
Merry Christmas to everybody who started Alvin Kamara.
Yeah. Surprisingly, the majority of his yards were all rushing last night. So
crazy.
He wasn't necessarily helping Breeze out much in that game from a receiver standpoint, but the connection with him and Michael Thomas just has not been there at all. And again, neither one of them have really played a lot this year, so maybe it's a timing thing. But after last year's record-breaking season, I don't know what more timing they would really need. You get into camp, throw a ball a couple of times, boom, it should be right there. But it just hasn't been. And, he's another one that's I was debating on putting on my naughty list, but I left him off. So that's what we're looking at for the QBs. Do you want to run through the nice list of QBs, or just run through naughty all the way through?
Let's just do naughty right now. So I've got a couple quarterbacks I want to add here, and dude, honestly, Lamar. I mean, this guy was going what? Second round in some leagues? Third round?
Yeah.
Probably
second
at worst.
Pick in Fishbowl.
Well, I mean, Fishbowl's a different beast.
Obviously,
I mean, right here, got killed by Lamar, and it's got Fishbowl. Thank you very much, along with Stafford and Galladay, and I can name a lot of players that killed me, and they'll probably be named later. So Lamar,
my entire team.
Yeah, Lamar,
not named Mahomes.
Yeah, Lamar, dude, he started off super slow. He's coming on now, but I mean, people who drafted him probably didn't get as far as they wanted to because he started off so slow, so cold, and he's been QB5, QB6, QB1, whatever the last few weeks. Great. You didn't get me to where I needed to be. You're not in the playoffs with him most likely, unless you just had a superstar team. So yeah, he killed people. Another guy, honestly, and it's Russell Wilson. We were talking MVP with this guy early on. Everybody's like, no, Russell Wilson's never gotten an MVP vote. Well, guess what? He's not going to get one again. You know why? Since week 9, he's quarterback 15 in fantasy. Yes, I get it. Fantasy and NFL is different, so maybe he'll get a vote randomly over here or there. But like, he shouldn't. It's gonna go all to Mahomes or Rodgers, and it should. Absolutely, it should. So, I might have given away your next quarterback, but let's move on here to our running back naughty list here.
All right.
What you got? We
This
can name
one,
a lot of guys, right? Obviously,
yeah, there's definitely a lot.
We removed as much injury as we possibly could from this position, but it's hard.
It is, and I'll let you highlight the guy that I was going to put here initially, but I'm going with Joe Mixon. I had really high hopes for Mixon this year.
A lot of people did.
I mean, he was ADP 10, running back 7. He was going early and often in every draft because he was so good at the end of last year, and they leaned on him, and he finished, very strong for Cincy. There was some worry with Burrow coming in, the rookie quarterback. You didn't know what you were getting out of AJ Green and this and that. But overall, there's a lot of talent on the offense, and he was part of it. So, again, it's tough because he only played for 6 weeks. But in that 6 weeks, he only had one game where he was RB1 value, and that was against Jacksonville. He completely blew up against Jacksonville. Other than that game, he didn't have any other game over 70 total yards. Total. That's receiving and rushing. And he only had 1 touchdown. He had 2 touchdowns against Jacksonville. So, I mean, that's just not cutting it for a guy that you're drafting in the first round.
I mean, Gio's done pretty solid even without,
He has. He's been a really solid fill-in. And
it's hard
Burrow,
to figure out what was going on with Mixon early on. It really is.
Yeah.
So I hear you
So,
there. I've got one nice. Oh, of course, my computer just seizes up as I'm trying to do this. Oh, Jesus. So a couple of nice list guys here. Antonio Gibson, a guy who, I wasn't really sure was going to get enough playing time, and he was, and a lot of people were the same way. Like, nobody quite knew what Washington was going to do, whether it was going to be, AP. And of course, he gets cut like last second, so everybody's already drafted at that point. And then from there, there was just kind of like, all right, well, fine, it's Gibson, but we don't know anything about Gibson. Like, he wasn't a high draft pick. It wasn't a great college player. He was kind of a gadgety guy. So, but dude, he's been a monster when healthy. Unfortunately, he hasn't been, this last week. He might get on the field tomorrow. We'll see. But then James Robinson, another guy who, once they traded Fournette, it was, well, who's going to be the guy? And of course, with Ozigbo and Armstead going on IR pretty early, it was like, well, J-Rob. And I was like, I got a lot of questions early, and this is totally my fault. I got a lot of questions early about, how much fab, how much whatever, should I go after J-Rob? And I was like, I wouldn't buy into it that much. Like, this guy's an undrafted free agent. I know, they say nice things about him, but everybody says nice things about everybody in camp. They do. We didn't see preseason. We don't really know what this guy is. And I was like, look, I was thinking Armstead's coming back. Ozigbo's coming back. Well, neither one of them did until Ozigbo came back in like week 14. That didn't matter. J-Rob goes off to being the third highest rated fantasy running back in the season until he gets hurt this week. So, yeah, my bad to everybody I told to not pick up J-Rob. So that sucks. I was one of those people who didn't pull the trigger on it. So, and I lost out. But yeah, they've been super nice for their fantasy teams. So
who do you have on the naughty list then of
oh, my bad. I did the nice
running backs.
Shit. My bad. I just did the because my
that's fine.
So yes, obviously it's Zeke.
Yep, 100%.
Zeke for the naughty list, man. Like, look, he's been healthy all year. it's not totally his fault. The offensive line's been banged up. Quarterback's missing. The offense really, but let's be honest. Like, even when things were rolling for Dallas, it wasn't through Zeke. He was scoring touchdowns, but that was about it. He wasn't racking up the catches. He wasn't racking up the yardage. He was falling into the end zone, and it just wasn't working for him. So Zeke's been a total dud. And, I mean, we saw Pollard come in last week and crush. So it's like, what's going on with Zeke, man? Like, he got paid and now he's lazy or something? I mean, like, I hate to say it, but, like, that happens to players. And, you know, hopefully, you know, he bounces back next year, but he's definitely on my naughty list, and I'm not picking him up next year, I don't think. So let's move on to some receiver naughties. Sorry about the slip up there and giving my nice list away.
You're good. Real quick, I just want to touch on my nice list. Might as well just skip running backs on the way back. Yeah, exactly. It would be, and this is actually more producer Jeff's pick, and that's Jonathan Taylor. He threw a tweet out, a link to a tweet from Ben Fennell at Ben Fennell _NFL. Jonathan Taylor has caught 35 of 36 targets this season. Taylor's generating 10.6 yak per reception. Only Deebo Samuel is generating more with a minimum of 20 targets. And Deebo Samuel hasn't really played at all this year. So that's basically Taylor's stat in my mind. And Taylor could almost be put on the naughty list if we were kind of going up and down through the season, because he did fall off hard for a little bit.
Hard. He never really got started. What are you talking about, man? He had like one good week and then he just like disappeared, and people were cutting him. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, it was the Naheem Hines show for a little bit, and then, you know, Jordan Wilkins came
hurt
out
even for like what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, he had a couple weeks where he just wasn't there. He wasn't hurt, or he was hurt, but he wasn't playing. So yeah, I mean, he turned out to really turn it on towards the end of the season here, which kind of really what a lot of people thought was going to happen anyways. And their season, I mean, their strength of schedule from week 10 on has been at Tennessee, where he didn't really do anything in that game. But then Green Bay has been susceptible to the run. He missed the second game against Tennessee. Houston, huge game, 91 yards on 13 carries, 44 through the air on 3 receptions and a touch. Las Vegas 2 weeks ago, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, another 15 in receiving. Back to Houston again, another 83 and a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's been the running back that we all thought he was going to be. For some weird reason, Indy just didn't want to. And look, we said this in the preseason, right? Maybe you can't trust these rookies right off the bat. You have to wait, but you've got to wait on these guys because they're talented. And we knew this, and that's going to be a story. That's going to be something else we're going to bring up later. And you know, but the running backs came along a little slower than I really thought they were. Like, all of them did. Dobbins did. JT did, Swift did. They all came along a lot slower than I thought. You know, Gibson came out hot. J-Rob came off hot. Those were the 2 guys that I didn't really think would. But like the big 3 that everybody was really kind of relying on, CEH even was kind of, I mean, he started off boom, but he was, I mean, he was just kind of like steady, okay. Let's be real. Like, he was just steady, okay. Because he's in that Casey offense, so he's getting some touchdowns. But it wasn't, you know, it wasn't like lighting the world on fire or anything. But, yeah, these rookie running backs really kind of slowed to the punch early. And then they're crushing late. I mean, Swift today didn't do anything, but, like, it wasn't really his fault. That was a disaster game for Detroit. And Stafford gets hurt and everything else. So, all right, move on to your naughty list receiver.
So, naughty list for receiver. I don't own him anywhere this year, and that wasn't necessarily by design, but I'm going with DJ Moore. ADP of 34 coming into the year, wide receiver 14. So he's currently wide receiver 23. Okay, not terrible. But he's only got 3 games where he's had 6 or more receptions. So he's flat out averaging 4 receptions a game because he's got 52 total on the year. He missed a game, played 13. Do the math. Now, those 3 games where he's got 6+ receptions also happen to be the only 3 games where he's eclipsed 100+ receiving yards. Meanwhile, and this is why he's on my naughty list, his teammate, Robbie Anderson, currently sits at wide receiver 18. I could probably throw him in there too.
Good too, man.
So Anderson sits at wide receiver 18. He's got 85 receptions, so 33 more receptions. He's got over 1,000 receiving yards at 1017. His ADP was 118 for wide receiver 56.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, Robbie Anderson was a gold mine pick, man. Like, I did not expect
a lot of people drafting him. I mean, I feel like
I feel like a lot of 2 different leagues, and just
most people were drafting him, but he was so late compared to what you were spending on DJ Moore.
Well,
and he just didn't. You're not getting it. Again, wide receiver 23 is not horrible, but for where you paid for him compared to his own damn teammate, I mean, that's
neither
one of them really has a lot of end zone action.
No, Robbie Anderson hasn't scored at all. Twice, I think.
He's got 3.
Excuse me. Does he have 3? Anyway, DJ Moore, yeah. So the thing with DJ Moore was like everybody's like, all right, well, so check down, he'll get the short, and that's what he does. He catches the short stuff, and he can take off with it. And the thought was Robbie Anderson's just a deep guy. I mean, that's what he did in New York.
Yep. 2 touchdowns for Anderson. 1 in week 1.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Just 2.
And then 1 in week 12.
But he's getting catches. He's getting lots of yards. So he's a steady, good, like wide receiver 3 type guy for you. Like you can count on him, right? He's not going to kill you. The thing with Robbie Anderson, why nobody really was going after him, is that he was a deep threat guy. And you're like, okay, he's going to a bad offense. They're not going to score a lot, which they don't. And Teddy doesn't throw the deep ball very well, right? And so that was the thought. And look, we were right. We were 100% right on doesn't throw the deep ball very well. But they utilized Anderson so differently than we've ever seen him use before. They're making him run normal routes. So he's catching more underneath stuff and making plays with it. That's why Robbie Anderson became so much more valuable than we ever thought we would. That's what happened.
He has 119 targets.
That's insane.
119.
I don't even know how many targets he had in years past, but I guarantee it wasn't anywhere near 119. But that's proof right there that they're utilizing him differently. Because if you're a deep ball guy, you don't see 119 targets. You do not.
No.
You see what? 60? Maybe 70, unless you're one of like the top studs, you don't see that many. Anderson has been one of the best receivers this year because their coaching staff used his talents differently than his old coaching staff did. I'd be careful next year drafting him because I don't think he's going to get overdrafted next year. I don't think he'll do this again next year. Or if he does, it's not going to matter. He'll do the exact same thing, so you're not gaining any value. You're just going to get the same old. But he'll get overdrafted next year. You watch.
Well, yeah, you're going to have to draft up on him next year.
Yeah. Because
people are going to be all over him.
So I've got a couple naughty list guys, and more just I'm pissed off at him, guys. Keenan Allen. Come on, bro. You had a phenomenal season. I get it. So it's not the whole season. This is a Week 15 naughty list. You're questionable, but then you're going to play. And then you go on the field and do warm-ups. And you walk by a reporter and say, don't sit me. So what's the fantasy community do? We go freaking bonkers, and we still rank you in the top 15 of receivers. Everybody and their mother starts you. And what do? Absolutely nothing. You played, 12 snaps? I don't even know. I was so mad at you, man. Don't sit me. Get the out of here. Come on. Do that shit. And then Kenny Galladay. Go in the goddamn IR already. Come on, man. What the hell's going on?
Why are you not?
I don't understand. This isn't even his fault, I don't think. This is the Detroit Lions just being stupid. You know this dude ain't playing. Not at all. Come on.
Played all fucking season.
The entire damn season. You've been hurt, except for 3 weeks? Go on the IR. Give fantasy owners
4 games.
a chance to put you on an IR or drop your ass because you are not playing. You're not playing at all. It doesn't matter. So my naughty list for receivers isn't performance-based. It's just I'm pissed off at these guys. This is just stupid. And it has ruined. Last week with Keenan Allen, literally knocked people out of the playoffs. I guarantee it. Me and countless other top analysts in fantasy told people to start Keenan Allen. I know other top analysts who started Keenan Allen and just went, well, I don't know what to do. And then Kenny Galladay. How many teams do you own Kenny Galladay on? I know for me it's at least 3. And guess how many teams he's still on? 3. Because I was praying he'd come back and save my season.
It's at least 3 that I have him.
I've been in the best ball league.
Might be more than that.
It's just what the hell? So yeah, a little pissed off about that one. All right, let's move on to some.
I mean, I just want to touch on something real quick with these guys. All right, so Keenan Allen is one of 3 guys that has 100 or more receptions on the year. It's him, Diggs, and DeAndre Hopkins. All right, so he's tied with Diggs for number of targets at 147. They lead the league. Hopkins is right behind him at 138. Allen has less than 1,000 yards on the season by 8. He still has 8 touchdowns, so he has more touchdowns than both of those guys. But they're sitting at 1,300 yards. 13-14 for Diggs, 13-24 for Hopkins.
That's his game, but dude, he's still been good.
Still
been super
That's
good.
fine. He has been good. He has been good. I'm not trying to take that away from him. I mean, his yak is kind of in the middle of those 2 guys. But you look at the guys right behind him. You got Allen Robinson with 90 receptions. He's 1,100 yards. Travis Kelce with 98.
He's got worse quarterbacks too. That's kind of funny.
13. 1,300 yards plus. Devontae Adams, who missed some time, is still at just under 1,200 yards. 98 receptions. Darren Waller, 93 receptions on 129 targets. Okay, he's under him in yardage. But it's just looking at these numbers, man, it's just dumbfounding to me. And I get that that's kind of Allen's game. He's been good most of the season. But still, that hurts. Galladay, yeah, again, he technically played in 5 games, but the 5th game against Indy in Week 8 was worthless. 29% snaps, 4 targets, no receptions, and he hasn't played since then. So why you're not on the IR, I don't understand. But thanks for pretty much absolutely nothing this year. You silly, silly bastard. Okay, nice list.
Tight end. List. No, naughty tight end.
Brandon Ayuke. Was my nice list receiver.
Go to the naughty list tight end.
Fine. Naughty list tight end
right now.
Oh, all right. Well, I don't know.
I screwed up the running. I screwed up the running backs. My bad.
Effed it all up for
So that's
me.
my bad. I screwed up the running backs. That's my fault. Sorry, man.
God, try to write show notes. This is what happens every goddamn time. Anyway, naughty list, tight ends. Paging Tyler Higbee to the floor. Paging Tyler Higbee. You suck, sir.
Bueller.
Where the F have you been all goddamn year, Higbee? I mean, what the hell? Dude has been pretty much non-existent this entire season, aside from week 2 against the Eagles. Shocker. He has 2 other games where he has double-digit fantasy points. You know why? He found the end zone. You know when?
Because really bad defenses?
Week 13, Arizona. Okay, mediocre against the tight end. 4 for 24 and a touchdown. And last week, week 15, against the New York Jets, 4 for 67 and a touchdown. That's it, dude. That's all you've brought to the table all season long. Nothing else aside those 2 games and the game against the Eagles in week 2, where you managed 3 touchdowns on 5 receptions and 54 yards. So the yardage still sucks, but the end zone is nice. So that's your value right now. You are Mr. Touchdown dependent this year.
Yeah.
And you haven't seen it from, let's see, week 3 to week 12. Those are pretty important weeks if you're trying to play in week 14, 15, and 16. Last time I checked.
Nobody had Higbee at this point. So, everybody moved off from Higbee pretty quick. So, let's jump in. Yeah, you had to. I mean, tight end was as much as we tried to pump it up, and a lot of people did this year, man. So, it's not like we were alone. But, yeah, it sucked. There's depth, but there's definitely like a tier 1 and 2, and then there's like a tier everybody else. And I'm off the window for a reason.
It's like a tier 1 and 1A, and then a tier 6.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Everything else.
There's like shit. 1 or 2 guys that you can trust up here,
streamable,
and then everybody else is like, well, good luck. So let's do your nice list, quarterback man. Let's be nicer today for once.
Okay.
On this show for once. How about that?
Let's be nice. Okay, cool. I'm into it. All right. So, Aaron, Mr. Discount Double Check, Rodgers. ADP of 90.5, QB 11, 1 ahead of my hometown boy, Mr. Wentz, who we just already talked about. Dude, I mean, he's basically MVP, and this could be another tied MVP vote between him and Mahomes, like we saw with Manning and the late great Steve McNair.
State Farm. Should we just call it the State Farm MVP at this point?
We might as well. I mean,
it's gonna be who's gonna win it.
Farm is just like, yo, what's up? I'm thick.
By the way,
I'm
are you
gonna
weirded
get
out by
MVPs.
it's a new Jake?
Boom. Yeah, it's a new Jake, and
What happened to the old guy?
Thick. I don't know. They're like, get this turd with the khakis out of here. Put some khakis on this guy. See if they even fit.
Smooth,
they
man.
don't.
I like the nerdy State Farm guy.
No,
that's what made the commercials, man. It was like a nerdy. This guy's just like,
khakis.
Right. That's exactly that's what was cool about it. That's what was funny about it. This guy's too smooth, man. Like he's trying to win some ladies over. Whatever.
This guy is stud. All right. I mean, I don't.
He gives you that look.
Swing that way, but that's fine. If I had to have a night
do
of
it, but this guy, like when he looks at the camera, he's just like, when you need a discount, call State Farm. We got you.
He's like,
come on.
and pants are dropping. I mean,
Jesus. All right,
everywhere.
let's move on. We're done.
Okay,
with this.
so
Aaron
Rodgers.
Rodgers. More Stay Farm talk. Let's move on.
This QB 11 was his ADP. Nobody wanted anything to do with Rodgers, and we probably bashed him fairly well coming into the season.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be nice to us since we're on the nice list. We beat him up like Farva in the prison shackles with the hose. I mean, it was like, okay, that's a hell of a discount. Not very double check. This is the quintessential reason for waiting on a QB, at least this season. I mean, I don't know. It depends on the league. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I know you're more of a fan of it than I am, but dude,
100% I do. I got Josh Allen like round 9 in every league I did.
I don't want anything to do with Rodgers this year. And now I'm so pissed off that I didn't take Rodgers this year in every league.
We made fun of everybody in the Fantasy Six Pack League made fun of Garrick. Granted, where he took him, he had no business taking him. He didn't even need to take him there. I think he took him in round 7 or something silly like that. And I was like, what? Why? Like, hey, okay. He wanted to bet me. It would have been a hell of a bet. It's still close. He goes, I will bet you Aaron Rodgers, because I drafted Josh Allen. He goes, I will bet you Aaron Rodgers will outscore Josh Allen this year. I didn't take it. I was just like, whatever, man. I'm not trying to bet money on this weird year because I didn't know what was going to happen. Dude, it's super close. Josh Allen's ahead by just a smidge because of last week. So who knows what's going to happen this week, right? So, that was a hell of a pick. He got into the.
He went for it, and
I get it. Go get your guys, but at some point, like,
slow golf clap. I mean, well done.
I get it. Go get your guys, but he didn't. He drafted him as like QB6. He didn't need to draft him there. Like there wasn't anybody else that was going to take him there. That was my point. I was like, go get him after like everybody else takes their quarterback because nobody wanted him. But anyway, he ended up being right. But Rodgers had a hell of a season. You got another guy here who I think you want to talk about more.
Yeah, my honorable mention for quarterback is Wentz's replacement. Shocker, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts so good. Okay, I mean he's been nothing but stellar since taking over for Wentz. He's got 812 total yards, 6 touchdowns to 1 interception. I have not written down the pass attempts, but okay, he's been in 3 games. He only has 1 interception. I don't know if Wentz even has 3 games where he hasn't thrown an interception. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that's better. I mean,
good call.
He's phenomenal pickup for the fantasy playoffs. I mean, if you had a Roethlisberger or somebody that you waited on that's not named Rodgers, and they managed to do well enough to help you out and get you to the playoffs because the rest of your team was already stacked, and you went out and grabbed Hurts, congratulations. You should win a touchdown championship league.
So in my family league, I was the 4 seed going in to the playoffs. And the team that was the number 1 seed and kind of like ran house really didn't have a quarterback. And I told him that when he drafted. I was like, you drafted Cam Newton, you're going to have trouble with a quarterback all season. Cool. Guarantee it. So as soon as Taysom Hill became available, snatch him. Josh Allen, by the way. As soon as Taysom Hill became available, snatch Taysom Hill. Sat him. As soon as Jalen Hurts became available, snatched him. Sat him. Guess who I played in the semifinals of the playoffs? That guy. Guess who we played at quarterback in the semifinals? Derek Carr. Ouch. Granted, the injury didn't help, but, dude, he missed out on what? Jalen Hurts in what? 40, almost 37, 40 points or something like that in my league? Yeah.
Yeah, he had 33 or so points last week.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
That was, so, yeah. Sometimes you can play defense in fantasy. It works, guys. You got to do it. So, my nice list quarterback, Justin Herbert. Nobody saw this coming. Granted, nobody saw a bad, doctor's visit from Tyrod coming either, which is unfortunate for him. Go Hokies still. Hope you get better and you figure some things out. But
did they get like Steve Buscemi's character from the Adam Sandler movie with the eyes going on? What is that? Is that Billy Madison? No, not Billy Madison. Big Daddy, I think it is. The shopping cart.
I don't know, dude. Yeah, it's that was a weird shot. Okay. That was a weird situation. It was like, yeah, I know.
Oh, sorry.
That was a weird situation, but Herbert came in and, you can't sit this guy. He's going to set rookie records for passing and things like that. Like, he's incredible. So Justin Herbert, keep it short here. He's phenomenal. I think we've done all our running backs because I was an idiot and did my Gibson and J-Rob, and you filled in, gave you Taylor just to fill it in there. So we've done our nice list for them.
Honorable mention for running back. I guess you could throw Rojo in there. You're welcome, LaPresto.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He's been good. He's been better than Fournette, aside from week 2 and
much better.
The 2 weeks that he's been out this past 2 weeks. So.
Yep.
All right.
Hey,
so
quick
receiver.
question. We got a Ryan Voigt on YouTube.
All right.
Kareem Hunt or Chris Carson for this week? And considering what's going on with the Browns right now, Hunt gets the Jets. And he's going to be like their leading receiver, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. I still think Carson's steady.
Hunt or Carson, dude.
I'll let you answer first.
I like Hunt. I definitely like Hunt. Rams are tough against running backs. Granted, Carson wasn't in that game when they played in week 10. He's been pretty solid the last 3 weeks going against the Giants and the Jets and Washington. Jets and Washington have been pretty good against the run, so still managed decent yardage. I still got to go Hunt. I think with the entire goddamn receiving core not named Marvin Hall, who they picked up 3-4 weeks ago from Detroit.
Oh, yeah, it's brutal, dude.
Hunt's going to be their receiver.
I still think I go Carson, although it's getting a lot closer. I will admit I haven't been able to look at a lot of things. The news came out super late before this 8:30 game, this 8:15 game tonight. So I did move Hunt up a little bit, but I gotta do some more looking into this. Right now, I go Carson. It's also PPR, so I get that.
Full PPR.
Yeah, that makes it a hell of a lot closer. I'm not gonna lie, but I'll tell you though, Carson's been getting a lot of looks in
he has
the backfield. So I don't.
The Rams took that game in week 10.
Here's the thing I like about Carson. He gets work out of the backfield. Granted, not as much as Hunt maybe, but really, we've talked about this a couple weeks ago where we saw Hunt get 2 targets, 3 targets, 3 targets, 4 targets. The last few weeks, Carson sees almost the same. The good thing about Carson is he gets the red zone carries. That's not what Hunt's going to get. So I still lean Carson because of that. I get with everybody out that you want to think Hunt's going to get a lot more work.
Chubb's still going to be the red zone guy.
Chubb's going to be the guy, man. This is going to be a Chubb game, big time.
Well, the other thing you got to look at, too, that game, LA won. The leading rusher for Seattle was Alex Collins with 11 carries and 43 yards and a touch.
Yeah.
Sorry, he wasn't even the leading rusher, the leading carry getter.
Right.
The leading rusher Russ Wilson with 8 carries for 60 yards.
I mean, Carson's going to get some work here. So,
oh, yeah. I definitely think he's the one that will get the work.
I say right now I'm leaning Carson.
I still think
Hunt's just very unreliable still. It's just we don't know what the offense is going to look like. I think we all want to think Hunt's is going to get a lot of work in like the slot or something like that, but that's not what they've been doing with him, regardless of who's there. So I don't want to trust that, and I'd rather trust the consistency with Carson. That's just my take. So good luck, Ryan. Hopefully that helps. Check that rankings on Fantasy six pack around, I'd say around 12:15 tomorrow once we all update them, and you'll get a better take as to what we're all thinking here. So, go ahead and move on to your nice list receiver.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start and finish with Brandon Ayuk. I mean, look, he's taken advantage of the injuries. San Fran has been beat up by injuries all year long. And he's been one of the most consistent receivers in the game this year. Granted, he did jack squat today. Going, what was it, 1 for 15? Not gonna do it. And that's like what the Keenan Allen of last week for this week. So way to go there. But
yeah, good job.
again, they it was kind of an ugly game. Division game, close, whatever. But he still only had 2 targets. So I think that's more of a CJ Beathard thing.
Well, and Kittle was back. That mattered.
Jeff Wilson had a huge
game. Oh my gosh, there's a run game big time.
So, but Arizona's been susceptible to the pass all season. So he still was a 93% snap share. 2 targets. 93% snap share, 2 targets. That's not an IU problem. So
anybody.
Yeah, take this game out of it.
He's been phenomenal this last few weeks. Yeah, I'm gonna move on here, man, and just say that all these rookie receivers have been extraordinary. What was the one thing we said all preseason, right? If you're gonna trust any rookies, it's gonna be the running backs, because running backs grab ball, hit hole, go, right? Receivers have to learn offenses. They've got to learn routes. They got to get timing with quarterbacks, and they didn't have that. They weren't able to do that. I don't know how in the hell this happened this year, but we got Justin Jefferson being a beast. We've got help me out here. We've got a bunch of rookies that are
Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, Brandon Ayuk. We got T. Higgins.
Higgins has been very good. Rieger's been kind of up and
off
down.
And on. He's had a couple of good games. We've had a lot of good rookies.
Up and down.
Who?
Ruggs.
Ruggs sucks, dude.
He's mostly down.
Judy's been kind of meh. But anyway, but a lot of
Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb was awesome with Dak, and he's been mediocre with the other quarterbacks, but everybody else there. But again, these rookies kind of took off real quick. So those that's my nice list right there. It's just they surprised me. They really did. So give me your nice list tight end. And I'm surprised you did this just because you don't like this team.
There's only one to talk about, and that's our boy Logan Thomas, quarterback turned tight end.
Please, let's go.
ADP 316.
Let's just say undrafted.
316. Well, I'm saying 316 because that's the address of the new house that I bought.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful. I love it. Love the tie-in. I'm a numbers weirdo.
Oh, we got a Ryan Fitzpatrick time in Miami.
Hey-o.
Time to score some points. Tua.
The beard.
I like Tua, man, but he's just I think he's still a little too conservative. right now.
Yep,
He's got to take some chances. Doesn't help
So
that
again,
Parker's out. Anyway, Logan
Thomas, again, virtually undrafted. Had a rough start to the season after his huge week 1 performance against Philly. You suck.
Nice.
Currently sits at tight end number 5. 5. Undrafted. 5. That's why this position is basically.
Wish I had brought my other beer. Got a 5 on it for that.
I don't even know. You got a left hand brewing or something?
No, I had there's a beer I have in the fridge called I got 5 on it. So I wish I had brought that over if I known you were doing that. Instead, my second beer is keyboard power, which seems perfect for what we do.
Cool. I'm about to crack my other one.
I cracked mine a long time ago. I'm good.
Tight end 5. You know who that reminds me of? My naughty list guy, Mr. Tyler Higbee from last year. Nobody knew who the F he was last year, and then he's just like, "Hey, what's up? I'm Tyler Higbee. I'm on the scene."
We did, but
ooh, what? And then, no. I mean, Logan Thomas has bounced around.
We knew who he was, but he wasn't.
We knew who he was,
but he wasn't
knew who
valuable.
Logan Thomas was because he played on Detroit. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Boom. He was a guy that is now a guy who's number 5. Okay, 5. Did it again. You're welcome. Go Hokies. Who you got?
You're gonna make me get up and get my beer. I'm gonna leave the screen. That'd be bad if I had
Fine.
3
I'll just sit
powders.
here and I will drink because I'm opening number 2. It's Trogs Hop Cyclone. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know.
I like that can. It's pretty cool looking, actually.
Hazy double IPA. Like get a little.
I like it, man. I like it.
Trogs is good shit, man. Good shit. Trogs Independent Brewing. PA.
I like Trogs. So yeah, real quick, mine's gonna be a Robert Tonyan, and we said Tonyan for about 12 weeks until everybody realized it was Tunyon. Oh, yeah. You can't deny this guy in total Pro Bowl snub. I don't know how the hell Eric Ebron got it over him. They have so many same stats. Yeah, you didn't know that? Yeah, God. Eric Ebron got the Pro Bowl nod. Tunyon did not, even though Tunyon has 10 freaking touchdowns. Yeah, this guy deserves all the credit and didn't get any of it. So the 1 year that, I say all the time that Green Bay and Rodgers don't use their tight ends. And ultimately it really is true. This year it wasn't the case. Granted, they had like 0 receivers healthy besides Adams. There was a couple games where they didn't have Adams, so of course they're going to throw it to Tunyon. Yeah. So yeah, he's been really good for people. But let's move on here, man. I want to rip through some DFS picks for Week 16 here. Bring your video back. Sorry, everybody. It's a weird show where I gotta cut AJ's video off when I switch over to change the slides. So
I see it now.
Yeah, it's sort of weird. I don't know what happened. It started only this year.
Okay.
It fizzes out.
I was like, that's terrible.
It's only when the window when your video goes behind another window on my computer. So I had to leave your Hangouts video up in order for it not to do that. So it's just weird. I don't know why it does it. It used to not do it, but it does. Anyway, so I want to start with some stacks. Obvious stack here, right? You got to go Mahomes, Kelsey, Hill, whatever it is. I wouldn't choose all 3. I would choose one. It's Mahomes and Kelsey or Mahomes or Hill. Look, it's the top offense in the league. They're going against one of the worst defenses in the league. They're always good no matter who they play, it feels like. So I know they're expensive, and that's why you can't choose all 3. You got to pick one and then kind of find some values later. But these guys are top notch, and you got to. I think these are easy cash play type rollouts here. Another guy's on the opposite side. Look, Julio Jones is out. We know that, and we know Ryan struggles without Julio Jones. But maybe they're figuring something out because Ryan balled out last week. And he's going to have to, this is going to be a high-scoring game. Ryan's going to have to pass a lot. And who's he going to have to pass to? Calvin Ridley. We know this. So Ryan and Ridley is a little bit lower priced. Ridley's really high priced, but Ryan's a little lower. They're still both pretty high, but that's another stack that I like as far as receiver quarterback. And that's the way I like to play my cash games. I don't stack quarterbacks and running backs. I know some people do. They just like to stack the teams, but I stack my quarterback and my receivers. I talked to some people, Dave Eddy and Keenan Keeling, who they've taught me a lot this year. I haven't been a big DFS guy until this year. Kudos to them for teaching me a ton. But especially when you get into these like, these sort of like cash game, small tourney things, like you just gotta load in on the good teams. If you're going to go solo quarterback, I was going to go Baker, but of course with all the COVID stuff that just came out right before this show came on air, there's no chance I'm going that way now. Baker's out. Baker's done. He's got no receivers. My only other solo QB that I would go with is Jalen Hurts. And that's because, look, Jalen's not going to get it through the air. And if he does, he's going to spread it around. It's going to be Ertz. It's going to be Goddard. It's going to be Rager. It might be D-Jax, who's coming back this week. Whoever he's throwing to, right? Sanders and whatever. He's going to spread around. But he's also going to get a ton with his legs. So Hurts is a good solo quarterback who's a little bit cheaper. So you can bounce back and maybe pay up for some of these other running backs and receivers that you want. But keep in mind, this is a small slate because there's been so many early games. So moving on to some running backs here. My top play at running back, the high-end guys, I like David Montgomery the best. He's playing the Jags, who are absolutely atrocious against the run. And AJ, by the way, feel free to jump in and make comments if you want. Cut me off. David Montgomery, by the way, against the Jags, 7.7K. It's pretty expensive, but David Montgomery's been one of the elite running backs for the last 4 weeks. And his price does not reflect it. And he also gets a premier matchup. So I love David Montgomery this week. I think he's going to be locked in every single one of my cash lineups this week. The next one I was sort of iffy about. Still am. But David Johnson had a good week last week. He's 6.1. Playing Cincy, so it's a good matchup. It's sort of pricey, sort of mid-range. But, it's a guy that, if you're going to pay up elsewhere, maybe you can look at David Johnson as a guy who could kind of fill in and maybe score, 15 to 20 points and not kill you type of thing. Probably my favorite value play of the week, and thankfully there was an injury that helped for this, Melvin Gordon. And I've not liked this guy most of the year, but Melvin Gordon's been really good lately. Now they're losing Phillip Lindsay for the week. Not a great matchup, but he's only 5.6K. We've seen him get the job done even in bad matchups when he gets the work. So Melvin Gordon, I want to ask you, AJ, what do you think about Melvin Gordon this week, considering Phillip Lindsay is out?
I mean, yeah, the loss of Lindsay hurts that offense in general.
I mean, but Phillip Lindsay's been trash too,
dude,
so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it has been. I mean, LA is still a pretty tough defense against
tough,
run.
That's the worst part. That's the worst part.
But I mean, they got to go somewhere with
5.6K, man. It's a good value.
I mean, that's such a good value, and he put up double digits on DraftKings against the Chargers back in Week 8.
Right, that's exactly
going
what I was
only
trying to say.
8 for 26. Granted, he had 6 receptions and 21 yards. So that helped his cause a little bit, but dude, I don't hate Gordon this week. I think it's a good value play if you're trying to find somebody that's going to get the volume. He's going to get the volume. Where else are they going to go? Royce Freeman?
I mean, they're going to use him, but I get why they put Mel Gordon below David Johnson, because the matchup's bad,
yeah.
and that was the
You
thought
got-
that Lindsey was still going to be active. But now that Lindsey's out, no, 100%. I mean, look, the last 3 weeks. Let's do even the last 5 weeks, right? And I'm going to put a bad game in there. 19.4 against Miami. Miami's a good defense, guys. Then had a bad week against New Orleans, 3.1. Then 18.2 against KC, who's not terrible. 12.1 against Carolina, who actually has a good run defense. They're terrible against the pass. And then 24.1 against. Oh, is it the opposite? Anyway.
Carolina sucks against the run.
Anyway, and then 24.1 last week against Buffalo. So he's gaining steam here in this last part of the season, and now he doesn't even have to compete with carries with Philip Lindsay. So right, I that's my play of the week right there. Gio Barnard is another one against Houston, 4.8K.
Yep.
I love that play a lot. So like if you want to save on running backs and even like just use Monty and Gordon and Gio, with running back 1, 2 and flex, I'm all for it, because I'll tell you, I don't really like the receivers this week. A lot of the really, really good top-end receivers play today. Unless you want to pay up for Devontae Adams, I get it. But it's hard for me to do that if I'm not going to use Rodgers, and I don't love Rodgers tomorrow. So for me, Cooper Kupp, 6.6. They don't have Akers. The Rams are going to have to pass a lot more. Kupp is not going to see who DK is going to see, unfortunately, which is Ramsey. So Kupp could be a great value. And DK's more than Kupp. So I'm definitely off of DK. Higgins is sorry, what?
Oh, go ahead.
No, you were going to say something.
I was going to say, I'm following up on the Gio. I mean, he had 3 really strong weeks in 6, 7, and 8 against Indy, who's a tough D.
Yeah.
Cleveland, not as tough. Much better game. Tennessee, also not as tough. And then he kind of fell off against Pittsburgh, which you would expect. Washington, which you would expect. Giants, surprisingly, you would
Then he came back
maybe
and
expect that.
Pittsburgh.
Miami, Dallas, you wouldn't expect that. But then he destroyed Pittsburgh. You're right.
Yeah.
83 yards on 25 attempts. Touchdown.
Caught some,
another
passes too.
receiving touchdown
Yeah.
for 14 yards.
That was such a crazy game.
That's huge. And
Houston is
Houston,
awful. So, but again, it's 4.8K too. It's such a value pick at this point. Like, I don't love it. Like, I don't think he's gonna do what he did last week. But you're paying 4.8K, and there's not a lot of super value picks at this point in running back this week.
No.
But moving on to receiver here, T. Higgins, no Boyd this week. Again, great matchup against Houston. He's only 4.7K, so a little bit of a value pick there. Look, I know the quarterback isn't great, but hopefully they're going to get Brandon Allen this week back. Even if it's not, I think Higgins can do something to make up that value. Crowder versus Cleveland, 4.5K. I like this better.
I like it a lot. Actually.
I liked this better before all the receivers for Cleveland got COVID, because I thought the Jets would go down, real fast, and they would just have to pass a lot, and they still might. But Crowder's is a target machine, so I still like it. Real value plays here. Chenault against Chicago. I get it's a super bad matchup, but he's not going to see the top guys there. That's going to be Shark and Cole and things like that. So Chenault's going to see slot work and things like that and get open. He'll get some work. 3.7K, not anything to care about. And then Mims. Jets guy, 3.6K. He's always a guy that always seems to find a place in my lineups. Yeah, whatever. He gives you 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 to 10 points at best. You paid 3.6K for him. Guess what that gave you? It gave you Monty. It gave you a Derrick Henry. It gave you a Mahomes. It gave you a Hill. It gave you a Kelsey. That's what those plays give you. That's why you play them. And real quick on the tight end side, I really like Austin Hooper. Now that Cleveland has lost all their receivers, he's dirt cheap. Cole Kmet's also cheap. I'm going cheap this week on tight end unless I'm paying up for Kelsey. Otherwise, I'm not paying up for it.
I mean, another guy I'm looking at too is Michael Gallup. I mean,
that's decent.
He's potentially somebody I would have put on my naughty list.
You just don't know which way they're going to throw. 1 week it's Lamb, 1 week it's Gallup, another week it's Cooper.
Yeah,
with Dalton there, you just don't know, so it's hard.
But he's got 11 targets in week 13 against Baltimore. Went for 86
just do
and a
something
touchdown.
silly. Holy crap.
The 2 weeks since then.
Aguilar does 15's Aguilar targets for the Raiders, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Aguilar just caught like a 40-yard bomb and then like juked 4 guys and scored a touchdown.
Makes sense because, he's not in an Eagles jersey anymore.
Because, he figured out how to catch a pass.
Well, he grew arms. So
yeah, he grew arms. Thank you.
It's great. Arms with hands on the end of them.
Yeah.
So good for you, buddy. Good for you. Glad.
All right, should we move on to injuries or
turd? Yeah, Gallup, like I was saying.
Sorry.
3 double-digit plays in the last, 3 of the last 4 weeks since he was rough. But he could be an interesting case against the Eagles. It's an important game this week. So
it is.
I don't dislike that.
Still in the race because he sucks.
I mean, I know why, but I all right, injuries.
There's not as many as we used to have, but there are a lot of known outs already, which is kind of shocking for even a Saturday. Julio Jones out, CMC out, Galladay, we know. Boyd, we know. Philip Lindsay, we just said. Clyde Edwards-Helaire ruled out with the ankle. Cam Akers out. Hunter Henry got COVID. Good work, brother. Then James Robinson is out with the ankle. So let's move on to the injuries we're not totally sure about. So not an injury, but just kind of random. Jaguars are going back to Mike Glennon. You're tanking, guys. There's no other way around this. You're tanking. That's all there is.
Tanking for Tua.
No.
.20. Wait. Oh,
no.
Lawrence.
No.
I know.
Trevor Lawrence. Anyway,
I know.
Alex Smith is doubtful, so it looks like we might get Mr. Strip Club, Dwayne Haskins somehow. I have no idea how that's possible. Zeke, calf injury limited, but he's going to be active, so I don't know, man. What do you think about this Zeke and Pollard situation? I mean, I don't think I can trust either one of these guys at this point. I mean, unless you're totally desperate at running back 2 or a flex, I don't start these guys.
I don't think I would because Philly is still pretty decent against the run. Zeke does tear them up pretty well, though. But he hasn't torn much up this year other than his direct deposit checks because they're direct deposit and he don't give an F. So he just
that was good.
Making it rain on himself with money he's already earned for playing like absolute dog shit. I mean, Pollard could have like a random 42-yard receiving touchdown where he jukes a couple of guys.
Let me ask you this. So if
I'm not
you've got total trash on the bench, but you've got Zeke and Pollard, and you needed a flex decision between garbage, which you probably won't play over Pollard or Zeke. If you had to pick between Pollard or Zeke, who are you playing?
Pollard.
I would too, actually.
I'm playing Pollard.
I would too.
I mean,
I think he's more electric at this point. I think he's got more legs underneath of him. I think he wants it more.
Yeah.
Period. So, that's all I've got, man. I couldn't find any other injuries. Oh, sorry, Antonio Gibson, toe limited. So keep an eye out for that one. He's one where if he starts, I think I play him. He's gonna be good. So I don't think they would risk playing him if he wasn't healthy enough to just carry the workload like they want him to.
Yeah.
So, move on to receivers, man.
So receivers, John Brown could actually return from the IR this week. Still not decided, but hey, here's
They could
hoping.
be big, man. They could be big for Josh Allen and
It'd be
obviously Josh Brown.
huge.
Ooh,
Allen
wow,
Robinson.
Gaskin just caught or ran a big touchdown. That was a catch. Damn, 2:55 left in the ball game.
All right, Allen Robinson hamstring
55-yard
limited.
pass, dude.
Tyreek Hill hamstring limited. Keenan Allen. Oh, don't sit me.
Don't sound like that.
Hamstring limited. S a D. After last week's debacle, do we trust him, Joe? Do we trust him? Do you trust him?
Absolutely
for your
freaking that, dude. Unless something comes out from
semifinal
the
not happening matchup.
So if you somehow got to your finals with Keenan Allen, unless the coaching staff comes out and says we are playing him full snaps, no, hell to the no. I mean, like, look, if you've got Keenan Allen versus like Keelan Cole, fine, I'll do it. But if you got Keenan Allen versus like even like a Michael Gallup, I'm playing Michael Gallup over him, 100%. No freaking way am I playing Keenan Allen tomorrow if I can help it. He burned you last week, even though he said he was the guy. So
no here are my options in the Hunger Bowl Division 5,
all right,
which
right.
I'm
so we got live
not still in.
Live advice, guys.
Keenan Allen. All right, so this league is a QB.
So is this your flex or is this your receiver?
A receiver, a tight end, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flex and 1 super flex. He's currently in my lineup, but I'm happy to take him out. I have Cole Beasley. Horrible matchup, but okay, why not?
That would be good if John Brown does not play.
Correct.
I would do that if John Brown does not play.
Dallas
100%.
Goedert is a start.
Oh, wait, what?
These are the people that are in my starting lineup right now.
Oh,
I don't care about
who
them.
you would play in place of Keenan Allen.
Oh. All right, let's go there.
Starting lineup.
So I've got James White, and Jack Doyle.
That's it.
That's
all you had on the bench.
Well, I had Hunter Renfrow, who had a nice 8.4 points, and Jordan Reed, who had a 0. So
I'm guessing there's not a lot available.
I mean, I've got Slayton, who I could slide up and play Nick Foles. Oh wait, never mind. I've got Carson. Oh wait, never mind. And I've got Gardner. Never mind.
Wait, you can't play Slayton in front? You can't play Slayton?
Well, Slayton's in my super flex right now.
Oh.
If I would have been able to put one of those 3 quarterbacks because they were starting, but yeah, they're not starting.
I think you're stuck with Keenan Allen, brother.
Yes.
All right. Fun times. All right, moving on here, man. Let's get to the Washington football team injury.
Okay, Mr. Terry Sausage Egg McLaurin.
He's out.
Doubtful.
Let's say he's out.
With an ankle. And tight end, you've got Ebron. You got ahead of him with the thing? I don't know. Okay, well, he was a full practice participant, so he should play tomorrow. That's why he's a Pro Bowler, clearly. I mean, okay. Week 16 picks.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I did this on my phone this morning.
That's all right.
Come on. You could have changed it, too. You were updating it. But
I could have,
week
but I didn't.
16 picks, and I didn't change the slides because, I stink at this. So, Jeff, come back soon. Alrighty. Let's do this, man. Our week 16 picks, last of the year. My computer's totally botching here. I'm going to start here, man. First time in a while. Sleeper quarterback, Jared Goff. Look, they're going to probably have to pass a lot more without Akers. And I get it. I'm not loving the DK, but, Lockett and he'll find some tight ends. He'll find some of those receivers out of the backfield. He's gonna find it. He's gonna find it. Sorry, I said DK. I'm getting everything all mixed up. Sorry, Goff. Ignore me. I'm gonna take one more sip because I just totally botched that.
Robert Woods.
Sorry, thank
is
you.
A good option.
Yes, Goff against
Cooper
Seattle.
Kupp.
Robert Woods.
Yeah,
Kupp.
CK.
I liked Kupp as my
DK. CK.
Yeah, so Kupp, I liked him as one of my DFS plays. They're gonna have to pass a lot more against Seattle. Without Akers, that was at least correct. And because they're not trusting Henderson or Brown at this point, it seems like. So Goff's going to get a little bit more work, I feel like, in this game, and it could potentially be a shootout. So moving on to your sleeper quarterback.
Going with my hometown boy, Matty Ice Ryan.
By the way, don't we hate Matt Ryan? Don't you remember that? Don't you remember this?
What? I don't hate Matt Ryan.
Why not? 2003? Yeah, we don't like Matt Ryan. Boston College.
I don't hate.
Okay.
I don't want to relive things, okay? I don't live in the past, Joe. I've moved on to the future, okay? Look at my fucking hat. It's bendable, all right?
Bendable. I can't pull mine to the side like you. I guess I can do this, but it doesn't look...
Yeah.
I can do that. All right. Mr. I Hate Christmas that you wore Christmas hat 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, we're just going to do that now. All right.
Sure, man.
Matty Ice, my boy.
2 boom mics.
Hometown. Exton, PA, represent. Look, all right, he's sitting right at 15. I get it. But there really wasn't any good options outside of...
It's pretty rough. I almost picked him, too.
Him and Goff. So, I think he's going to still have a good game. Gurley, look, we know what Gurley is, and it's
nothing anymore.
It's not very good.
No, they've stopped using him.
They have to throw to stay in this game, and I think they will, even without Julio down by the schoolyard. Doesn't matter. All right,
picked
you
Ryan
got
and
Gage, you got Calvin Ridley.
That's why I picked Ryan and Julio or Ridley.
You got a
sorry,
DFS stack pick from a co-host. So
Hurst is gonna get a sneaky touchdown play. You watch. All right, man. Sleeper running backs. I mean, there wasn't much out there. I would Gus Bus. I mean, all I can do is go with the team that's going to run the ball like 40 times between quarterbacks and all the running backs, and it just wasn't out there. So good luck if you got to pick one of these guys, is all I got to say. At this point, I'm guessing if you're this far in your season-long leagues, you've got better running backs than this, and I'm going to guess you've got better running backs than the one that he's going to pick.
I would hope so. I would very much hope so, because I'm going with Zack Moss. Look, I'm picking him because I think he finds the end zone again. I mean, I'm saying it's a porous New England run defense, but they've been pretty good on and off this year. He had 2 touchdowns against them earlier this season. That was his best game. So why not? Sure.
Yeah. All right, so my receiver sleeper is going to be Tyron Johnson.
I like it.
Like I said before, I don't trust Keenan Allen this week, so I think Tyron Johnson can shine. We know Herbert likes to use him. We saw it last week and the week before. I love it, man. If you're struggling with your flex or your wide receiver 3, I say throw him in there. He's going to be a baller this week.
Why not? I like it.
What you got?
Going with the hometown birds. Greg, I worked for a bread company, loading trucks, Ward. Graduated from Houston as a touchdown throwing quarterback, turned wide receiver. Okay. Dude, he's got 3 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks with Hurts under center.
Yeah.
Granted, Hurts came in late in the game against Green Bay, but guess what? He threw the touchdown to Greg Ward. All right. He sucked a fatty last week in that ridiculous we're going to win because we don't care about draft picks game against New Orleans. But, whatever. No, sorry, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. But he had another touchdown last week against we don't give an F about draft picks New Orleans. So, why not? Dallas sucks. Sorry. Hate you, Dallas.
Hate you, Dallas. Nice.
Suck.
We're super positive today. All right.
Terrible.
Let's jump into some buzz here. Let me switch the slide while I'm thinking about it because I always forget. I know my computer won't want to switch here. All right. Bring you back. All right. So, buzz here. My quarterback is Desean Watson. I know the matchup is tasty, but, man, I don't really like – you're just going to keep changing it, huh? I just don't really – it's just in your face, yeah. In your face.
In your face.
Yeah, I forgot what I was saying, but Desean Watson's I'm just not loving the play this week. I feel like he's just ranked too high. Like the Houston offense just hasn't been phenomenal this year since, Cooks went down, and not in general anyway. So I'll pass on Watson. What you got?
I'm gonna have to go with Tannehill. Because I hate Florida State. Always have, always will. Suck at Seminoles.
Okay.
And B, because no likey Green Bay defense. No mas. No. Peace. You suck.
All right. So my running back bust is gonna be Mike Davis. Seemed like the obvious pick, man. Like playing against Washington, that defense has been on absolute fire.
Good.
The last few weeks, man. They've been good before then, but wow, they've been crazy good the last few weeks, and it is a really negative matchup for them. Mike Davis saw another negative matchup last week and didn't do well, so I'm not feeling it for him this week again. So,
yeah, I like it. I'm gonna go with Le'Veon Bell. Look, I get it. The volume should definitely be there with CEH out, but I mean, Atlanta has still been a pretty solid defense against opposing running backs. And as I alluded to earlier, I like Matty Ice this week. I think it's going to be a throwdown showdown. I don't think there's going to be a lot of running from the KC side.
Yeah, Bell's a tough one this week, man. I've got him ranked pretty, fairly high, like an easy running back too. I get why you want to use him, but I'm a little leery too because I think they'll mix in Washington a bunch, and it's tough, man. Because they don't really use the running game as much as you would have hoped this year. But my receiver is going to be DK Metcalf. DK versus Ramsey Part 2. Ramsey 1 Part 1. I kind of sense a repeat. So I'm passing on DK. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go with DJ Moore. Already alluded to him earlier this show. Look, I think he's going to get held below his magic number of 6 receptions again against a very tough Washington secondary.
Yeah, the secondary actually isn't awesome for Washington, but the front seven is so good that it matters.
They're going to get enough pressure on Teddy that he's just going to be not looking at DJ. And if he does, under 6 receptions, write it down.
Sure. All right, let's do our tight end streamer here, and I'm going to start here, and I'm going to do Hayden Hurst, like I mentioned. Do very well against this Chiefs defense. They're gonna have to pass a lot, like you mentioned, and for obvious reasons, they're probably gonna get down pretty quick. And Hayden Hurst could, look at the yardage hasn't been there for Hayden Hurst, but the touchdowns have still been. So they could easily see, we could easily see like a 3 for 40 with a touch, and that's perfectly fine. The Chiefs allow the 11th most points toward tight ends, so I don't see any reason why Hurst can't capitalize there.
Yeah, I'm into it. I'm gonna go with Austin Hooper.
Yeah, I just said I like that pick.
Again,
It's
this
pretty
is
obvious.
a pretty obvious pick.
Yeah,
but although I will say, I think him and Harrison Bryant can actually be both.
They're both going to be
startable this week.
Yeah,
and maybe Bryant a little more than Hooper, because people might be targeting on Hooper, defense wise. Either way, they're both going to get
one. That's funny.
What's that?
He can legit be the wide receiver 1 this week. It's so silly. They got nobody,
ridiculous. Man. But I mean, either way, he's still going to get plenty of targets. The entire receiving core is, contact or close contact or has COVID. So, okay.
Yeah. All right. Defense is here. I'm going Houston. They're playing Cincy. I'm just going to bet on some sacks and maybe a pick. There wasn't much out there. So
no, there wasn't. And that was one I looked at. I looked at that one pretty hard, actually. I was like, oh, this has got to be the pick. And I was like, you know what? F it. I'm going hometown. I'm going Philly. You know why? Because Dallas sucks. I don't know how many more times I need to say that this year, but
that's okay.
That's probably it.
That's probably it. So,
I mean, it's a must win.
Yeah.
Must win. Division opponent.
Ooh,
they put up 20 on Dallas earlier. Granted, that was at home in Philly. So we'll see what happens on the road. But I like their chances.
All right. Well, I'm not 100% sure we're going to do a show next week. We may do one the week after that, just as like a recap show and like a fun show. But we want to say thank you to everybody who listens and watches, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and hope we were able to help you for the season, and you won your championships or at least finishing the cash. I had fun doing this. I know I have I have a ton of fun doing this. AJ, I'm sure you do too. But
I don't have any fun.
No fun at all. None at all. Okay. And Jeff's not here tonight, but many shout outs to Jeff for working through all the issues we've had trying to get this show. All the issues trying to get this show exactly right. Even though we've shut up, AJ. We thought some weeks we thought we got it right, and then we tweak one thing and we screw it up, and it's just an interesting time. Amateur podcasting at its best, right? But great to have him around. It really takes a load off my shoulders. As you can see tonight, I missed some of the slides, so having him around to do that kind of stuff helps out big time. And it's just fun to have him on the other side, chiming in our ear, like giving us crap about missing things and being like, "Oh yeah, whoops, hold on." So, good times, man. And again, everybody, good luck in Week 16 if you're still in it. And that's all I got. Cheers, AJ.
All right.
Merry Christmas again.
Cheers. Merry Christmas. I would just like to quickly thank all of our guests who have come on.
Absolutely. So many
throughout
good
the season, let alone throughout the summer, and all of our preview shows. We love all of you. We thank you for coming on, for pimping our show out and getting it more known. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you guys and for our listeners. So we thank you all. We love being here. We love doing this, and we're going to keep doing it no matter what. So listen, enjoy. Sorry, I don't know what that was. I was kind of weak too. Jesus. All right.
We're done. Peace out, guys.
I'm out.
I'll show the keyboard power as I'm drinking. Peace. Actually, I can't do that.